I don't normally tackle movies. I mean, movies aren't my typical area of expertise. Granted, I've watched a lot of movies, but I'm not as well versed as, say, people like Doug Walker, or, well, anyone else that you probably know about who reviews movies. But I just saw Sausage Party, and, well, it wasn't that good of a movie. Now, I need to preface this by saying that, first of all, I usually tend to like most movies. In fact, that's why I usually don't trust my own personal judgment when it comes to recommending movies to other people. I liked a lot of the movies that the Nostalgia Critic happens to not be in favor of. But at the end of the day, when I say a movie is bad, you might generally be able to trust my judgment. But then again, you know that I'm LDS, so maybe my opinion of Sausage Party may be a little bit different. So here goes a little bit of a rant. It all begins, like most animated films these days, with a musical number, and it's not a bad musical number, and it mainly alludes to a lot of religion and things like that, so a lot of religious symbolism is in there. And if you've seen any of the trailers, you know exactly where this is going. It's another movie saying how religion is all a lie. The other big thing about this musical number and what's all revealed in it is that there's a lot of sex jokes. And, you know, sex jokes, they can be fun every once in a while. But the movie, since this first part, it just keeps sending in sex joke after sex joke after sex joke. And don't worry, there's more than just sex jokes in there. Otherwise, I probably would have just turned off the movie. There's also race jokes. And there's not going to be a lot of people happy with this. Like, I just imagine the Tumblr crowd is not entirely too happy with this movie. Granted, some of these race jokes are slightly funny, like there's German food saying how they want to exterminate all the Jews, which I personally thought was really funny. I mean, the funniest things in this movie are the puns. So if you're not a fan of puns, you're not gonna like this movie. Although I will say that because the puns are the best part, one particular character, and this character happens to be the villain, happens to be the best character in the entire movie. I mean, except for the hot dog Barry that ends up being like the Neville Longbottom of this movie. I don't want to spoil too much, but you know what? This whole video is going to end up being spoilerific, so I may as well. You've seen him in some of the commercials. He's the douche. Literal douche. Whenever he says a phrase, and I'm just going to give one of them away, he gets an idea. Light bulb. A light bulb pops up and goes, yeah, not you, light bulb. Okay. And then, come on, spill the beans. What? I swear to the gods, beans! Oh, the gods are what they call us humans, because apparently we pick them, and they go to the great beyond, which ends up being us, you know, killing them, or using them in not so happy ways, like even toilet paper has an appearance in there. And the douche character is just my favorite character in there, because he ends up going mad with power, almost vampiric in some of the things he does with the other characters in the movie. The douche is by far the most creative character in the entire thing. The rest of the movie kind of falls flat. They basically separate food into stereotypes. And those stereotypes can be like candy food is like the, I don't know, pansy men. There's the fruits, obviously gay. Then there's the nut jobs, you know, nuts. And then they have all the Mexican food. They have all the kosher food. You know where this is gonna go. And they actually have a running thing going between a bagel and I don't even know the name of this food. It's, I think it's something Arabic or Palestinian that uses something kind of like a tortilla. I honestly don't know the food. Maybe I'm just uncultured. The whole thing between those characters is just a metaphor, or, well, not really a metaphor. It's obviously commentary. Commentary is the right word. It's commentary between the conflict of Israel and Palestine. It's meh, it's not really all that funny, but it's there. And then, of course, there's Firewater, the Native American character. Obvious racism in there. Thing is, as long as everybody's getting it, I'm actually okay with racism because, you know what? They do talk about crackers taking up the entire aisle from the Firewater character and Grits, which they make out to be a black character. And they talk about how crackers have been doing this. And I'm not gonna lie. If everyone is getting that racism, it's funny, but I shouldn't say that. If everyone is getting the racism, that makes it okay, because that means that they're on equal terms in terms of how offensive they're really being. If the jokes about the race, at least for every race, aren't funny or aren't equally funny, your movie's gonna get called racist. Now granted, they do try to keep everything equal terms, but at the end of the day, if it's not funny, it's not funny, and if it's not funny, people are gonna call it racist. Well, eventually, you've seen enough of the trailer, so you know what's gonna happen. Eventually, they do find out that the humans, aka the gods, are not so nice people, and the Neville Longbottom character, he actually happens to make his way back to the grocery store after overcoming his fears, because apparently, in this universe, bath salts give you the ability to see the things that you buy at the grocery store for what they really are. Like, I don't know why it's not telling you about some things and not other things. Like toilet paper, that's not food. But food, guess what? Both of those things, they can become alive when you're on the bath salts. But other things in this stoner's house, like say, the coffee table or the television, for some reason, those don't turn alive when you're on the bath salts. And I honestly don't understand the logic there. Is it like products specifically from this one store only that do it? Or what? They didn't explain it in the movie, so I'm a little confused here. And then, of course, as the whole movie goes through, they do all this crap, and when you get to the end of it, Frank, very clever name for a sausage, or hot dog, or whatever, Frank, he tells everyone how wrong they are, and nobody buys it because if you're just upfront about it, then no one's gonna listen to you, especially when it comes to matters of religion, where if you actually believe and know one truth, no one else is gonna want this other truth. And that's actually something that I kinda like that they used in the script there. The Native American character, Firewater, he flat out said the horrible truth and the comfortable truth. I don't know if that was the exact wording of comfortable truth, but he only used the word truth, never really a lie. It was a false truth, I think the wording he used was. And thing is, I think that's a very appropriate word because to these people, they each have their different truth. Whether it is the ultimate truth, that's up for debate, unless of course you get the absolute truth in this movie where we humans are apparently despicable monsters for eating. Itchy eye here. And thing is, the movie shows that if you're abrasive about it, people aren't going to listen to you. I mean, that's something that missionaries know about, and it's a lesson that you need to learn, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I might cut that line out, I don't know if that's going to stay here. Then everything ends when they kill all the humans in the grocery store, and then there's an orgy. I mean, they had so many sex jokes, why not have an orgy? I'll tell you why. Because the orgy isn't funny. The orgy scene kept going on and on and on. And it wasn't funny, and it wasn't sexy. Maybe I'm missing something, but why else would there be an orgy scene in a movie? I mean, it kind of makes sense from a story perspective, where the whole thing was the gods are always watching, and so they have to be very, very restrictive in what they do, because if they do that, then they might not be perceived as fresh and not taken to the great beyond. I can kind of see what's going on there, because they also had hints about restricting your inner desires through the whole movie, and that includes a lot of lust. Excuse me. And so I can see why, from a story perspective, an orgy might have made sense, but it's not funny, it's not sexy, and it went on forever. It wasn't good, like, at all. And then they have a plot twist showing that this movie is just a parallel universe being controlled by a bunch of people in Hollywood. AKA, they actually show the faces of the people who made the movie. And now they're going to our dimension, apparently, to stop the strings being pulled and kill every single one of us. So, that's my excuse if I don't make any other videos. A sausage killed me. So, at the end of the day, I realize I'm not exactly all that eloquent when it comes to saying why this movie is bad. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with this movie. I mean, am I glad I saw it? No. I'm honestly not glad I saw it. I'm not a fan of the movie. I understand that there are others who might love it, but, well, I'm not a fan. I would rather sit through a movie that felt way too long, like, say, BFG. BFG I enjoyed. It was way too long, I thought, and they did change some details from the books, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I shouldn't be talking about BFG right now when I'm trying to focus on Sausage Fest here. The issue is that I would rather see BFG and sit through that super long movie than sit through Sausage Party again. I could have been playing Pokemon while I'm trying to marathon all of the games before the new Pokemon games drop in November than play this. I mean, I would rather have gone to see the new Ghostbusters than this. And, I don't have any plans to spend money on seeing Ghostbusters anytime soon. I would rate Sausage Party, like, I don't know, 1.5 or 2 stars out of 5. I mean, granted, I'm not a perfect film critic. I can't eloquently state all these things as well as others can. But I would not recommend this movie to anyone. If you are someone that happens to like Family Guy, well, you might like the movie. This is very much Family Guy's audience, I'll give it that much. But if you're not a fan of Family Guy, you're not gonna get much out of this movie at all. How do I end this thing? Look, a distraction!